Alright guys, so the driver I had is no longer with me. He had to come off the road, which ended up being just a train wreck of a situation, which in this video, that's what I'm going to talk about. Rather, that's what I'm going to rant and talk about. Just want to kind of give a little preface to all of it. Any of you that know, that's been following, I've mentioned him before. He has his own channel. I don't know if his channel's still up, but it is Expediting with Brother Mark. And I don't know if any of you follow Courier Driving with Big D. It used to be Expediting with Big D. Now he's doing Courier Driving, but he's also ventured out into another avenue of work, and that is repoing with Big D. I had to call Big D's repo service to get my van back from Brother Mark. Wages, the cost to get Big D to repo something's pretty cheap. A can of Coke. Dude's freaking happy, man. So, anybody in the Cincinnati area, Cincinnati-Lebanon area, just give repo man Big D a call and he'll come get your shit. So, yeah, it all went kind of haywire. And in this video, I'll give you guys the details of it. So just sit back, enjoy. So let's get into it, and hope you enjoy. And hopefully this answers all your questions, and hopefully this gives you a little bit of information on being a fleet owner and whatnot. So holler. All right. So I'm going to talk about being a fleet owner. I'm going to give you some experiences and opinions on having drivers. Now, mind you guys, I'm still learning too. I hope none of you think that I've got this all completely figured out here. And one of the things that I'm still getting accustomed to is having the drivers. And that, if you decide to be a fleet owner, is going to be one of the most involved and pain in the ass parts of being a fleet owner and driving at the same time. I just currently lost another driver. The reason being, he wanted to come off the road. He had personal issues. That's for him to discuss and talk about. I'm not going to speak on his personal issues as far as what brought him off the road. That's his thing to deal with. What I'm going to talk about is him and I, how things went, you know, throughout him being my driver, and most specifically there at the end. Now the problem, one of the biggest problems with finding drivers is that many of them are in a tight situation or have a bit of a dysfunctional situation going on in general, whether it be personal, finances, combination of both. So that's the first thing you have to understand. It's very rare you're going to get a driver that is, you know, got his shit together all around, because if he did, he'd probably be driving his own vehicle. And if you get lucky enough to get somebody like that, it's usually somebody that just has chosen to give this life a shot and just don't want any kind of real worries or concerns or responsibilities as far as worrying about the logistics of things. So that's the type of driver you're going to get for the most part, is the one that's not in a great situation. Now I say that not as though my personal situation is just perfect, because it's far from it. But I make it work. and I'm able to do as much as I am to this extent. So anyhow, the last driver, okay, as I said, off the rip, helped him out, which I try to do. If I bring somebody on and I know, you know, as I said, usually their money's tight or anything, I'm going to try and help them out from the get-go, right off the rip. I'm going to try to make sure once they get to orientation, they get in the van and they're ready for the first load. I want them to be on basically a clean slate, even footing, good solid footing. So I'll take care of a few finances and everything as far as gas, getting them stocked up with some food, whatever it may be, but I do what I can. So this driver in particular, now his pluses, he could put in the miles. Very good at putting in the miles. He put in great miles. And the other plus to him is he does like the life on the road and living in a van and doing the driving. So those are his pluses. Those are the pros, the positives. Now the problem comes into, and it seems to be that way with many drivers. This is another similar trait of drivers for fleet owners. It's what I've experienced so far. It's what other fleet owners I've talked with them about some of their drivers. It's some similar things that they deal with. Is that one of the reasons that, and this is some psychological analyzation type of shit here. I'm no psychiatrist, psychologist, but this is just my opinion. So don't take this as professional advice or anything. So take it for what it's worth. You'll get out there, and I'm sure you'll experience the same thing if you're paying attention. But they make decisions. They make really rash decisions. Like, they don't think things through. There's not a lot of logic and thought put behind their decision making. And one of the biggest things is they, and this is for people even outside of drivers that are in a kind of a tough way in general. They choose to put their emotional state at the moment ahead of their responsibilities and concern about people around them. And what I mean by that is, for example, is like at the end of this last one. Okay, so the situation was, he needed to go to one location to pick up his belongings. Okay, now mind you, prior to that conversation, he told me his belongings would fit in the van and he could continue to rock and roll until he got near where he wanted to take his belongings. It's like, okay. Now, he took a load. They got him roughly 260 miles away from that location. I wasn't keen on that, but I said okay, because I just wanted to get it done and out of the way, because I didn't want any more drama or delays due to that needing being done. And it was coming up on the weekend, so it's like, fine, go get your shit. So he goes get his shit and then asks, hey, mind if I take it another 450, 470 some odd miles, somewhere in that area, to where I need the stuff to go? My reply to him, because this is via message, is that you can take it, or I thought you said that stuff will fit in the van. And then he gave me all these reasons why it's not going to fit in the van now. Overall, like, it wasn't like he didn't say, hey, it's not going to fit, it's not going to work. But again, and this is the manipulation part of drivers and people that don't put responsibility first, that I can't stand. They want to try to manipulate the situation. They turn it into, well, it's this and that, it's this. Even though I told you it's going to fit, now I'm basically saying it's not. So, I really want to go there. That's really the bottom line as to why I'm giving you all this hem-hawing as to why I want to take it there now. But he'd rather just give me a bunch of excuses why it needs to go. So I didn't give him a reply at the moment. I was thinking about it. For one, didn't think that he was gonna get to his stuff as quickly as he did, and so I didn't think I needed to give him an answer, so I slept on it. And so the following morning, find out if he's gotten his stuff, and was going to give him an answer. And my answer was going to be, go ahead and do it. This has just got to be it. This has got to be a clean slate going forward. You're going to have to put in the work. But when I asked him if he's got his stuff, yeah, he's got his stuff, and he's almost to the other location where he's taking his stuff. So without my okay, without getting a solid answer from me, because I didn't even give him a half-ass answer, I just asked a certain question, he decided he's going to go ahead and take my vehicle another 400 and some odd miles. So mind you, he chose to use my work vehicle for 700 and some odd total miles altogether for his personal issues and personal conveyance, with no regard to what I think. You know, talked to him about it, tried to call him, he wouldn't take the phone call, said he's busy, said it's not a good time, and then gives me, again, some manipulative answers as to, well, at least I didn't do this, or at least I didn't do that. No, that don't play, man. I hate when people act like, oh, what I did is bad, but it's not as bad as. Motherfucker, it's bad. Like, bad is bad. Don't compare your bad to somebody else's bad. Own up to your own shit and be your own man and be responsible for your own actions. It's one thing I've always been big on. No matter all the shit I've done in my life, I take responsibility and accountability for my actions. I don't blame anybody else for anything that happens to me. I am in control of my life, not somebody else. So, and as you can tell, I'm pretty heated about this the more I think about it. Like, you know, I'm trying to run a business, so I'm trying to keep it kind of level. I don't want to come across as an idiot, but at the same time, I'm super pissed off about this, and I want to be spiteful. I want to be an asshole, because it really bothers me when people think that they can just make decisions with your shit in their own life without thinking about it. And mind you, I've said these things to him, like, you need to start thinking before you act. You know, you've got responsibilities, you know, because no matter what you got going on personally, like, life still goes on. Responsibilities are still coming. Bills are still coming. Like, my life, everybody around me's lives have to keep going. And that's one of the things that early on in my life I used to do the same shit. Used to make excuses for my shitty decisions on my emotions. Like, I tried to justify it by being like, oh, it's a badge of honor that, you know, I'm doing the honorable thing because the reason I'm making this shitty decision is because of my family. Or, you know, bullshit. Your family is hindered by those things. You feel like you're doing the right thing at the time, but you're not. But anyhow, getting off into another thing. So that was the issue. And then, now mind you, like, a bit of my hesitance about even wanting him to get his stuff or not get his stuff is that had a prior issue that he went through some stuff and it quit, but then within 24 hours changed his mind and decided to stay. So it's now, I don't have a comfortable or stable feeling with this driver. Every time he gets in a certain area, I'm concerned he's going to want to go out of service, or I'm concerned that he's, you know, like with this situation, I was concerned that he wasn't going to come back out, which is what ended up happening. He said, hey, got to take my stuff there. I got to get off the road. Okay. Now he says, I'll give you a couple of weeks to find you a driver. Like, all right. So I scramble to find a driver, which I have found a driver. And so I let him know, hey, having somebody come pick up the van. Do you believe that he gets the nerve to get upset and be like, are you serious? Like, you're going to do me like that? Like, I'm going to do you like that. Like, he's like, you're not going to get, I need 2 weeks. I told you I need 2 weeks. No, you did not say you needed 2 weeks. You said you would be the nice guy, basically, is how he was trying to play it. Like, oh, I'm going to do you a solid, and I'm going to stay out for 2 or 3 weeks until you find a driver, which is cool. I appreciate that. I can be pissed off and appreciate something at the same time. So he gets upset about that. Try calling him. Ignored my call again. Then asked me, like, so I shouldn't go in service? I'm like, dude, I just tried calling you, call me. So we talked on the phone. Phone conversation ended okay. Everybody cool and everything. But which I explained to him. And even his own messages that he screenshot and sent to me, you know, I read to him. Like, you were saying that you were doing me a favor, that you would stay out until I found a driver. Not at any point did he say, hey, you know, I need to go, I need to at least, you know, have two more weeks with you and, you know, let you find a driver, you know, but I really would like to use 2 more weeks because I need the money. Not in any way, shape, or form was that ever said. Period. Ever. So, I got a driver, got the van, got a driver that's going to be getting in the van here shortly, and that's just, you know, one of the things. And if anybody's been following me, the previous driver I had, you know, didn't take care of the inside of the van very well. The thing was extremely filthy, had a lot of cleanup to do. And with him, that previous driver, now this was during the coronavirus and everything, and he was home for a while, and, you know, he didn't even give me, and he's a friend of mine, like a friend that I knew before that, you know, he didn't even give me the respect to be like, hey, I'm putting in applications, you know, that's going to keep me home, and I'm not going to go back out on the road. It was, when it was getting close to time to go back out, it was, oh, I got a job. Didn't even say, that means I'm done. I'm like, you know, I thought maybe it was just a job during the time off. And it's like, no, I'm not coming back out. So that's the stuff you can expect from drivers trying to be a fleet owner. I highly suggest, and again, this is from my experiences, and this is something I'm going to be in the process of doing now, is I highly suggest trying to get somebody that can fleet manage. If you're going to be on the road driving, I highly suggest getting a fleet manager, somebody that's stationary and can handle things for you, because it is stressful and whatnot. You know, like the thing with this van. That van was down for 2 weeks during the holidays. Get some work done. Everybody was off spending holiday times. So then he comes back in service, works for 3 or 4 days, and then, like I said, basically, in my opinion, like what the word that comes to mind, he hijacked my van for 3 days. Okay? He just decided he's going to do what he wanted with my van. Takes it out of service, takes himself out of service. So now that van's still sitting there, not making money, getting miles put on it that I have to take care of, and also picked up the van with an empty tank of gas. It's not how he got it, but that's how he left it. So now the van has to still sit another week before the driver can get into it and get to orientation and start getting freight. So that's things you have to consider as well, is that there is going to be some downtime. That's why I'm in the process of trying to find more vans, because it's definitely nice to have other vans rolling while a van or two is down. So it's another thing to keep mindful of. I mean, overall, don't get me wrong, even with this pissed off and frustrating as this all is, I'm going to get more vans. I'm going to deal with it, just because I'm just a problem solver. I'm just somebody that's going to keep going forward until I can't. So I'm not saying all this to tell you, oh my God, don't do it. I'm just sharing my experiences to hopefully help the next person have a good understanding of what they're getting themselves into. Because I know that some people that have not been out here have kind of a beautiful spring sunny day idea of being on the road and being a fleet owner. Like, oh, you're gonna have all this fun and make all this money, and man, I'm gonna have so many vans and make so much money. But that's not always the case. Yes, the money is solid. Yeah, and again, depending on how many vehicles you are and how efficient you are with running them and how good of a carrier you have and you know, there's so many different things that come into how profitable you're going to be. But as I said, even with the bad, I want to be a fleet owner. I want more vans. I want to continue to grow. But alright guys, so that's what I wanted to share with you, man. I needed to get that off of my chest because I was a little frustrated about it, and people need to know about this stuff because I do get comments a lot about fleet owning and, just driving in general, and so people need to see the shit, and I do. I try to give everybody the good and the bad. I mean, I try to stress the bad just because that's what you have to be most mindful of when you come out here and get into this industry. I don't care what vehicle, what means you're using, what kind of equipment you're using when you get out here, whether it's a van, straight truck, semi, anything. The industry itself overall, when it comes to drivers and how things are handled, are pretty much the same. I mean, you're dealing with it. My dad, when I was younger, he had 3 semis, straight truck, and a few little smaller pickup trucks, and he had his own authority and all that, and so he had a few drivers, and he had such a horrible experience with it that he, like, him personally, like, if you was to ask him about getting drivers, like, oh no, hell no, no, and did I say no? But me, as I said, I don't know, man. Maybe I'm glutton for punishment, but it is what it is. Alright guys, I'm done venting. I'm done bending your ears, so to speak. So hope everybody has a good day, and I'll holler at you later.